Hello students, myself Dr. Himmat Singh from School of Pharmacy, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. In physical pharmaceutics second subject, micromeritics units, today's topic is methods for determining particle size by different methods, counting and separation method. So in today's lecture, of micromeritics, we have to discuss about the different methods for particle size determination method will be discussed. So the objective of today's lecture is to study about the methods for particle size determination, either optical microscopy, sieving, sedimentation, or measurement of particle volume. We have to discuss about the advantages of each and every method and limitations of disadvantages of each method with suitable examples. So after completion of today's lecture, I hope student will be able to know about the different methods for particle size determination like optical microscopy, sieving, sedimentation, and particle volume measurement method, and learn about the advantages of each and every method, and also know about the disadvantages or limitations of each method. So methods for determining particle size. As we earlier discussed in micromeritics introduction, this is the science and technology of small particles. So there are different parameters which affects the physical, chemical, and pharmacological properties of any drug. And particle size, shape, and surface area is very important for that aspect. So particle size, as we discussed in previous lectures, that it is very effective role in determining the different physical, chemical, and pharmacological properties of different drugs. Now, in today's lecture, after determination of different particle size or equivalent spherical diameters, as we discussed in previous lecture, we have to discuss in today's lecture about the determination of particle size distribution by using different methods. So many methods available for determining particle size, such as optical microscopy, sieving, sedimentation, and particle volume measurement method. Optical microscopy is available or is applicable also in the range of particles which having 0.2 to 100 micrometer in size. Similarly, in the sieving range, the particle size can be determined in the range of 40 to 9500 micrometer. Similarly, in sedimentation method, the range of particle size is given here 0.02 to 300 micrometer. In last method, this is known as particle volume measurement method or Holter counter method. The range of particle which can be determined with the help of this particle volume measurement method is 0.5 to 300 micrometers. So there are so many methods available for determining particle size, but we have to discuss only 4 methods one by one, having the particular size range for each and every method in detail. You can see the approximate size ranges of methods used for particle size and specific surface analysis. So specific surface is again the surface area per unit volume or per unit weight. So particle size and then specific surface determination method will be discussed one by one in our today's lecture. So When we go through the different methods, we can find the different size ranges or approximate size ranges of methods used for particle size analysis, which is given in this PPT. So you can see there, when the particle size is more, then we can use the sieving or sedimentation method. Otherwise, if the particle size is very less, then we can use the optical microscopy, electron microscopy, and then other method. Similarly, in specific surface analysis, air permeability method is used for particle size in the range of 1 micrometer to 100 micrometer. And if the particle size is less, then we can use the adsorption method for specific surface analysis. So range of particle size, the guide to range of particle size is given here for each and every method. When the particle size is less, as I discussed, we can use the electron microscopy, ultracentrifuge, or adsorption method. When the particle size in the middle range, we can use the optical microscopy, sedimentation, Holter counter method, then air permeability method. If the particle size is greater than 1500 micrometer, then we can use the sieving method for coarse powders. Now start from optical microscopy method. This is very, very important and widely used method in our laboratory as well as in the industry also for determination of particle size distribution. So as we already know that the sample is wholly dispersed in nature. Wholly dispersed means they having the different particles of different sizes. So we have to determine the number of particles having the same size range, and we can plot the different frequency distribution curves. So optical microscopy method, we can determine the number of particles having the similar size range. So this method is known as number distribution method. So in this type of optical microscopy, you can see the diagram here where the microscope eyepiece is fitted with a micrometer by which the size of the particles may be estimated. So there are two types of micrometers. One is the ocular micrometer, another one is the stage micrometer. Stage micrometer is also known as objective type of micrometer, and ocular micrometer is known as eyepiece micrometer. So according to the optical microscopy method, an emulsion or suspension is mounted on rolled slide on a mechanical stage. The microscope eyepiece is fitted with a micrometer by which the size of the particles can be estimated. The ordinary microscope used for measurement the particle size in the range of 0.2 to 100 micrometer. So we can determine the particles of very less size, and not only for solid powders, we can use the emulsion or suspension as a suspension, a sample for determination of particle size. So in optical microscopy, it should be possible to use the ordinary microscope for particle size measurement in the range of 0.2 to 100 micrometer. According to the microscopic method, emulsion or suspension diluted or in undiluted condition is mounted on the slide or a rule set and placed on the mechanical stage or platform of the microscope. The microscope eyepiece is fitted with a micrometer by which the size of the particles can be directly estimated. The field can be projected onto a screen where the particles are measured more easily, or a photograph can be taken from which a slide is prepared and projected on a screen for measurement. So this is the advancement and facility available with recent optical microscopy. So it can be more easier to determine the particle size, and we can take the photographs also, and we can prepare the slide and project it on a screen for measurement. You can see the diagram here where the different definitions of different diameters, which is related with the optical microscopy under the projection area is given here. So there are three type of diameters. One is the Farad diameter, Martin diameter. So now let us see one by one. So particles are measured along an arbitrary chosen fixed line, generally made horizontally across the center of the particles. Popular measurement are the Farad diameter, the Martin diameter, and the projected area diameter. So there are three type of diameters, which is shown in the picture also. So particles are measured along an arbitrary chosen fixed line, which is made horizontally across the center of the particle. And three types of popular measurements should be done. One is the terms of Farad diameter, another one is the Martin diameter, and third one is the projected area diameter, and all of which can be defined by reference to figure is suggested by the Allen scientist. Martin's diameter is the length of a line that bisects the particle image. The line can be drawn in any direction but must be in the same direction of all particles measured. So when we go through the diagram, we can find the Martin diameter. It is the length of a line that bisects the particle image, which can be represented by number 1. This line can be drawn in any direction, but it should be in the same direction for all particles measured. The Martin diameter is identified by the number 1 in figure, as you can see in this picture also. It is represented by number 1, which bisects the particle image. In this figure, there are another type of diameter which is known as Farad diameter. So Farad diameter is corresponding to the number 2 in the figure, and it is the distance between two tangents on opposite side of the particle parallel to some fixed direction, the y direction in the figure. So in figure, it is represented by the number 2 line. It is the actual distance between the two tangents on opposite sides of the particle parallel to the some fixed direction like y direction. And another type of diameter which is shown by the number 3. This is the third measurement. Number 3 in figure is the projected area diameter. So it is projected area diameter, which is defined as the diameter of a circle with the same area as that of the particle observed perpendicular to the surface on which the particle rests. So, projected area diameter, it is the diameter of a circle with the same area as that of the particle observed perpendicular to the surface. So these are the three types of diameters. One is the optical microscopy contains three types of diameter. One is the Farad diameter, Martin diameter, and third one is the projected area diameter. Now, procedure of optical microscopy. First one, in this type of method, we have to determine the least count of the ocular or eyepiece micrometer by using the stage or objective micrometer. As I discussed, there are two types of micrometer. One is the known as ocular micrometer or eyepiece micrometer, which is fitted in the eyepiece area of the microscope, and stage micrometer or objective micrometer, which can be used for reference purpose. Can be put on the stage or platform of the microscope. So first of all, we have to determine the least count of ocular micrometer. And you already know least count is the minimum number or minimum reading that can be read out from the instrument. So first of all, we have to determine the least count of ocular micrometer. This one division of ocular micrometer is having how much micrometer in size. After determination of least count, we have to determine the particle size distribution of our sample either in solid form or maybe in liquid form. This is the observation table. You can see here where the different size range is given here, In second column, the mean of size range is given here. In third column, number of particles in each size range. For example, in first range means 0.5 to 1 micrometer, there are 2 particles. So n is the 2. So similarly, when we multiply n with the diameter d, we can obtain the n into d. And when we multiply again number of particles with the mean size range of the particle with again mean size range, it will be defined as nd square. When nd square is again multiplied with the mean size range, we can obtain the nd cube. And nd cube when again multiplied with d, it will be nd4. And summation of all these terms can be denoted by sigma and d, sigma and d square, sigma and d cube, and sigma and d4. So this is the simple observation table which can be used or which can be drawn for determination of particle size distribution by the help of optical microscopy. There are different types of statistical diameter. We can represent our results in terms of different meaningful diameters like length number mean diameter, surface number mean diameter, volume number mean diameter, or surface length mean diameter, or volume surface diameter, or weight moment diameter. By using the different formulas, it is given here sigma nd by sigma n provides the length number mean diameter. So when we go through the Edmondson's average particle size determination formula, we can put the value of P and F. Then we can find out the different formulas for specific parameters in terms of meaningful diameter. So these are the different formulas. By using these formulas, we can determine the particle size in the terms of meaningful diameter. And the unit of particle size is in terms of micrometer. Now after it, the advantages of optical microscopy method. So this is the widely used method for determination of particle size in our laboratory, and not only for laboratory but for our industries also. In optical microscopy, there are different benefits or advantages regarding the optical microscopy. Now let us see here. Optical microscopy is known as direct method. We can visualize, we can view the particles directly with the help of optical microscopy. So it is known as direct method. Particles can be viewed easily. It is also known as number distribution method. So by counting the number of particles, we can determine the particle size of given sample. So it is defined as number distribution method. We can plot the graph between number of particles and particle size range or mean particle size on x-axis. So it will provide the results in terms of frequency number distribution curve. Then simple and accurate method within the certain limit of particle size. It provides the accurate results within the certain limit of particle size. As we discussed, 0.2 to 100 micrometer is the main size for applicable for the optical microscopy. May give detection of agglomerates and contaminations also. So these are the different advantages of optical microscopy method. Now limitations of this optical microscopy method. So although the optical microscopy having so many advantages, but it is also related with the some of the limitations. The diameter is obtained from only 2 dimensions of the particles. We can determine the length and width of the particles, but there is no information regarding the depth of the particles or thickness of the particle, which is provided by the optical microscopy. Second one, limitation or disadvantages of this method. The number of particles that must be counted to obtain a good estimation of the distribution makes the method somewhat slow and tedious, because we have to count the minimum number of particles 300 to 500. So this is the tedious method, time consuming method, and very difficult to count the number of particles which are more in number. So this all these things provide, all these things makes this method somewhat slow and tedious comparatively. So these are the certain limitations of optical microscopy method. Although it is a very good method for laboratory purpose for pharmaceutical students to determine the particle size, not only for solids but also for liquid materials. But due to the its tedious method, or because the labor cost is higher, or we have to count the number of particles more than 100, so this is the slow and tedious method for determination of particle size. Now, when we go through the another method, first we have to discuss about the different standards for powders. So the Indian Pharmacopoeia has laid down the standards for powder for pharmaceutical purpose. So the IP specifies 5 grades of powder which are is under. First one is the coarse powder. So you can find the different terms written in different books. So now let us see what is the meaning of these terms. First one is the coarse powder. The powder of which all the particles passes through this sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 1.7 millimeter number 10 sieve, and not more than 40% through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture size of 355 micrometer, means number 44 sieve is called coarse powder. So coarse powders means a powder that having the particle which can pass through the 10 number sieve and with not more than 40% through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture size of 355 micrometer, means number 44 number sieve. So what is the mesh number? First of all, we have to know about it. So mesh number is the number of apertures or divisions or lines present in 1 square inch area of given sieve. For example, if the mesh number is given 10, it means when we cut a 1 square inch area of particular sieve, we can find 10 divisions or 10 apertures in 1 square inch area in each and every side. The second one is the moderately coarse powder. So a powder of which all the particles pass through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 710 micrometer, means number 22 size, and not more than 40% through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture size of 250 micrometer, means number 60 sieve. So it is called as moderately coarse powder. So all the specifications are given by the Indian Pharmacopoeia, those standards of powder. Then moderately fine powder. All the particles of a powder pass through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 355 micrometer, means number 44 sieve, and not more than 40% through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 180 micrometer, means number 85 sieve. So it falls in this group. Then fine powder. So in this type of powder, all the particles pass through a sieve with a nominal mesh aperture of 180 micrometer, means number 85 number sieve. It is called as fine powder. And very fine powder means if all the particles of the powder pass through a sieve with a nominal mesh aperture of 125 micrometer, means number 120 sieve. So if all the particles pass through the 120 number sieve, then it can be classified as very fine powder as per the standards. So now, after the classification of powders, we have to move through the sieving method. So before starting the sieving method, what are the sieves? Now let us see here. So sieves are the constructed from wire cloth with square meshes woven from wires of brass, bronze, stainless steel, or any other suitable material. So sieves are made of different materials like brass, bronze, or stainless steel. The wires should be of uniform circular cross section and should not be coated or plated. There should not be any reaction between the material of the sieve and the substance which is being sifted from it. So it is certified from National Bureau of Standards (NBS), and a particular number is given to particular sieve. So what are the different number of sieve? We can see here. Standards for sieves used to testing must specify the following parameters. First parameter is the number of sieve. So as we discussed, the mesh number. So what is it? Again, see here. Sieve number indicates the number of meshes in a length of 2.54 centimeter in each transverse direction parallel to the wires. So if 1 square inch area or 2.54 square centimeter, length of 2.54 squares 54 centimeter in each transverse direction parallel to the wires, how many numbers of meshes or divisions are present? It defines the number of sieve. Nominal size of aperture. So nominal size of aperture indicates the distance between the wires. It represents the length of the side of the square aperture. The Indian Pharmacopoeia is given the nominal mesh aperture size for majority of sieves in millimeter or in centimeter. So we can take the help of Indian Pharmacopoeia to find out the particular nominal mesh aperture size of particular sieve number. So we can find the diagrams of different sieves and nominal size of aperture in this PPT. Now, nominal diameter of the wire. So, wire mesh sieves are made from the wire having the specified diameter in order to give a suitable aperture size and sufficient strength to avoid distortion of the sieve. Then, what is the approximate percentage sieving area? This standard expresses the area of the mesh, a percentage of the total area of the sieve. It depends on the size of the wire used for any particular sieve number. Generally, the sieving area is kept within the range of 35 to 40% in order to give suitable strength to the sieve. This is the approximate percentage sieving area. Generally, it is kept within the range of 35 to 40% in order to give the suitable strength to a sieve. Tolerance average aperture size. So some variations in the aperture size is unavoidable, and when this variation is expressed as a percentage, it is defined or known as the aperture tolerance average. Now, after the discussion of standard parameters which is related with the sieving method, now proceed for the sieving method. So this is the second type of determination method for particle size distribution of even powder. It is applicable only for the solid powders. So in this method, the fine powder is separated from the coarse powder by using sievings or using sieves of desired number. This is also known as separation method for different particle size of particles. The degree of fineness of a powder is known with the help of sieve through which the powdered material is passed. Sieves are numbered in order to distinguish from each other. So numbers are depends on the mesh number of the particular sieve. Now working and construction. So size separation of a powder is done by passing the powder material through a set of sieves. Sieves are arranged in descending order. Means on the topmost part we have to arrange the largest sieve, and then we have to arrange all the sieves in descending order. Or smaller sieve will be at the bottom part of the sieve shaker. So sieve of larger size is at the top and the smallest one at the bottom. The bottom sieve is again attached to the receiving pan where the fines can be collected. The material is placed in the uppermost sieve. the sieves are shaken with the help of mechanical sieve shaker or electromagnetic devices. So mechanical sieve shaker or electromagnetic devices are used for shaking purpose for different sieves. It helps the particle to pass through the sieves. You can see the diagram of mechanical sieve shaker machine where the different sieves are arranged in descending order. On the uppermost part there is a lid, and then on bottom part there is a receiving pane, and then the speed regulator is also available with the sieve shaker machine. Now, when we go through the advantages of sieving method, as we discussed, this is the method by which we can determine the particle size distribution of solid powder samples. It is also defined as weight distribution method. In optical microscopy, by counting the number of particles, we can determine the particle size or average particle size of given sample. But in case of sieving method, we have to weight the particles, or we can determine the particle size by weighing the different powder particles. So it is known as weight distribution method. And sieving method is also known as indirect method for particle size determination. Now it have the so many advantages compared to other methods. So first one is the inexpensive method. So it is the very simple and widely used method for determination of particle size for solid powder samples, and the labor cost is very less comparatively than the other methods. We can use the mechanical sieve shaker, or we can manually shake the sieves. It provides the shaking of the different sieves and record the ultimate result. And it is also easy to use. No sophisticated labor is required for handling the sieve shaker apparatus, so it is more easy to use comparatively. When we go through the disadvantages of sieving method, we can find there is a chance of closing of sieve if powder is not properly dry. Or we already discussed that it is the method which can only applicable for the solid powder sample. If the powder having moisture, then it will close the aperture of the sieve, or chance of closing of the sieve if powder is not properly dry. And another disadvantage or limitation of this method is during shaking, attrition may occur. So attrition is one of the mechanism of size reduction. We cannot obtain the actual size with the attrition and impact mechanism working in during the shaking purpose. So due to the attrition or impact phenomena during the shaking, it will be less accurate, or it will provide the less accurate results than the other methods. So these are the different advantages and disadvantages of sieving method. It is very simple method and widely used in laboratory practice for determination of particle size for different solid powder sample, giving the particle size in the range of coarse powders. So they widely used for range in the 40 to 9,500 micrometers. Standard size sieves are available to cover a wide range of size. These sieves are designed to sit in a state so that material falls through smaller and smaller meshes until it reaches a mesh which is too fine for it is to pass through. So the stake of sieves is mechanically shaken to promote the passage of the solids. The fraction of the material between pairs of sieve sides is determined by weighing the residue on each sieve. So as I already discussed, we have to determine the particle size by weighing the powder material which retained on each and every set of smaller sieve. The result achieved will depends on the duration of agitation and the manner of agitation also. So this method uses a series of standard sieves calibrated by the National Bureau of Standards. Sieves are generally used for grading coarser powders. So National Bureau of Standards provide the different standards, and we can calibrate all the sieves by the help of different standard which is provided by National Bureau of Standards. Sieves are generally used for separation purpose of different particles also, and it is also used for grading coarse size of particles. If extreme care is used, however, they can be employed for screening material as fine as 45 micrometer, means number 3 to 5 sieve. Sieves produced by photo etching and electroforming techniques are also available now with the apertures from 90 micrometer to as low as 5 micrometer. So according to the method of United States Pharmacopoeia for testing powder fineness, a mass of sample is placed on the proper sieve in a mechanical shaker. Then the powder is shaken for a definite period of time, and the material that passes through one sieve and it's retained on the next final sieve is collected and weighed. This is the method which is also available in USP for testing of different powder fineness. Another approach is to assign the particles on the lower sieve with the arithmetic or geometric mean size of the two screens. So Arambolo and Deirdre used this method of size classification in their analysis of the average weight of compressed tablets. Frequently, the powder is assigned the mesh number of the screen through which it passes or on which it is retained. And another scientist like King and Baker expressed the size ranges of the calamine samples in this way in their study of calamine lotion. So when a detailed analysis is desired, the sieves can be arranged in a nest of about 5 with the chorus at the top. A carefully weighed sample of the powder is placed on the top sieve, and after the sieves are shaken for a predetermined period of time, the powder retained on each sieve is weighed. Then after weighing or after conduction of experiment, assuming a log normal distribution, one plots the cumulative percentage by weight of powder retained on the sieves on the probability scale against the logarithmic value of the arithmetic mean size of the openings of each of two successive screens. And the geometric mean weight diameter dg and the geometric standard deviation sigma g can be obtained directly from the straight line which is plotted on the curve. So according to Hurden, sieving errors can arise from a number of variables including sieve loading and duration and intensity of agitation. So these parameters should be considered at the time of sieving experiment. Horner demonstrated that sieves can cause attrition of granular pharmaceutical materials. So attrition phenomena is also a very important parameter which affects the accurate results. Care must be taken, therefore, to ensure that reproducible techniques are employed so that different particle size distributions between batches of material are not due simply to different sieving conditions. So these are the observation table for the sieving purpose or sieving method involve different parameters, which is like sieve number passed, retained, arithmetic mean size of opening, which is represented in terms of D or micrometer, and then percentage weight retained on smaller sieve, and then percentage weight retained undersize, and then cumulative percentage retained. So, for example, when we make the set of 30 to 45 number sieve, the smaller sieve is 45, so we have to observe the weight retained on 45 number sieve, and we have to get the percentage weight retained on the smaller sieve, and then we have to accumulate the different material written on each and every scholarship, and when we collectively sum it, then it will be in terms of cumulative percentage weight retained. So this is the observation table which is required at the time of saving experiment. So these are the advantages. We already discussed it. This is a simple and rapid method, time saving method. Results of particle size is accurate and reproducible, and it is fast and easy in handling of instruments can be done. And disadvantages, as I already discussed, this method work only with dry powders. The minimum limit of measurement is 50 micrometer, and due to the attrition of the particles, it may break down, so the exact size range cannot be obtained. And loading duration and intensity of agitation can also vary the results. So these are the different advantages or disadvantages of the sieving method. Now, after the discussion of optical microscopy and sieving method, we have to proceed for third method. This is known as sedimentation method. So in sedimentation method for particle size determination, in today's lecture, we will discuss about the introduction of sedimentation method, and in our next lecture, we will discuss about the sedimentation method in very detail. In the last method of particle size distribution, which is known as Coulter counter method, will be discussed in very detail. So in sedimentation method, as we discussed, optical microscopy method is number distribution method or direct method. Second method was sieving method, which is known as weight distribution method, and it is also known as indirect method for sedimentation for particle size determination. In sedimentation method, it can be applicable for 0.02 to 300 micrometer particles size. So it is based on the sedimentation phenomena where the particles can settle down under the force of gravity. The apparatus which is used for this type of method is known as Anderson pipette or Anderson apparatus. So what is the principle of sedimentation method? So in sedimentation, by measuring the terminal settling velocity of particles through a liquid medium in a gravitational centrifugal environment using Anderson apparatus. So by measuring the terminal settling velocity of particles, means the velocity of settle down or settling velocity, terminal settling velocity of particles through a liquid medium in a gravitational centrifugal environment, by the use of Anderson apparatus, we can determine the particle size. And sedimentation mechanism depends on the Stokes law or Stokes equation. So as per the Stokes law, we can determine the rate of sedimentation or velocity of sedimentation. And by measurement of this settling velocity of particles through this liquid media under the gravitational centrifugal environment, we can determine the particle size also. So this is the third method of sedimentation. Method is known as weight distribution method again, and it is the third method for determination of particle size distribution for given sample of different particles. So as we discussed in today's lecture, there are four methods for determination of particle size. Either it may be optical microscopy method, it may be sieving method, or it may be sedimentation method. Two methods were discussed in very detail in today's lecture, and another two methods will be discussed in our next lecture in very detail. So after the discussion of today's lecture, I hope the student may be able to determine the particle size with the help of different direct and indirect method, as we discussed about the optical microscopy as well as the sedimentation sieving method. So these are the different references of today's lecture. You can go through these references and find out more details regarding the determination of particle size distribution of different samples. So this is all about today's lecture. Now, after the completion of today's lecture, the student have to attempt this quiz section. So the quiz section contains these questions. I hope you may be able to give the answers of these questions after completion of today's lecture. So question number 1 is given here. The diameter is obtained only from two dimensions. One is the length and breadth. B option is given here, length and size. C option is given, length and volume. D option is given, length and shape. So the diameter is obtained only from two dimensions, as we discussed in our optical microscopy method also. So we have to select suitable option for this question. Next question is given here, the methods for determining particle size, etc. So there are different methods given in different options, like in option number A, sieving, option B, optical microscopy, option C, of particles of approximately uniform size, and option D, sedimentation method. So you have to select the methods of determining particle size, which method is not applicable for particle size. So you have to choose that method and give the suitable answer for this question. The next question is given here, particles of approximately uniform size. So as the time of introduction of micromeritics, we already discussed about the different samples of particles. Either it may be polydispersed or maybe monodispersed in nature. So the question is asking about the particles of approximately uniform size. So whether it may be known as polydispersed system or it is known as monodispersed system. So you have to take the correct answer for this question. The next question is collection of particles of more than one size. So we already discussed about it, monodispersed or polydispersed system. So you have to collect the answer. You have to correct the answer of option number A or option number B. Next question is attrition of particles. So attrition of particles occur in sieving method. In the option is given here, optical microscopy method, in sedimentation method, or particle volume measurement method. So as we discussed in our today's lecture, attrition mechanisms occur or attrition of particles occur in which method? So you have to take the correct answer from A, B, C, D option. Next one is an instrument used to measure the volume of particles. So which instrument is used to measure the volume of particles? Option is given here, sedimentation. B option is given here, sieving method. C option is given here, particle volume measurement method. And D option is given here, optical microscopy. So which instrument used to measure the volume of particles? So you have to find out the correct option for this question. Next one is which method is related with the weight accept. So you have to find out, you have to tick the method which is related with the weight accept. First one is the sedimentation. B option is given here, air permeation method. C option is given here, sieving method. So sedimentation method, either it may be air permeation method or sieving method. What is the method which is related with the weight distribution? So except that method, you have to tick the suitable answer. The next one is the surface area per unit volume or per unit weight is known as. So as we discussed so many times in our today's lecture and our previous lectures also, what is the specific term which is used to define surface area per unit volume or per unit weight. A option is given here is specific surface. B option is given here is the particle shape. C option is given here surface area. So what is the surface area per unit volume or per unit weight, which is defined by A, B or C? We have to tick the correct option for this question. Now after it, there are short answer type of questions. So one is the what is mesh number of a sieve. So in sieving method for particle size determination, as we discussed, there are so many types of sieve which may be made by brass, bronze or stainless steel. Each sieve having the specific number, like it may be 10 number sieve or 20 number sieve or 40 number sieve or 60 number sieve. So these are known as mesh number. Clear? So mesh number is not a magic number. So what is the exact definition of mesh number is per the standards given. So in this question, you have to define the what is mesh number, or why the 10 number of sieve is known as 10 number sieve, and why the 100 number sieve is known as 100 number sieve. And on which basis we can say that the 10 number sieve is larger than the 100 number sieve. So what is mesh number of a sieve and how it is defined. Then the next question is here, give the applications of optical microscopy method for particle size determination. So we discussed about the optical microscopy and its advantages and disadvantages with the working and procedure of optical microscopy method for particle size distribution or determination of particle size for liquid as well as for the solid powder sample. So we have to summarize the applications of optical microscopy method for particle size determination here. So these are the some of the questions which are related with the determination of particle size distribution or average particle size. So we can determine the particle size distribution or average particle size by different methods, and two methods were discussed in today's lecture, and next two methods will be discussed in very detail with suitable examples in our next lecture. So this is all about today's lecture. So thank you. Goodbye.